If my daughter hadn't been a prodigy, we might never have encountered a loaded gun in the hands of a delusional woman in a phony uniform on our front lawn that crisp Sunday morning. But when your 17-year-old is approached by the CIA, normally disappears, throw into the mix, an HOA president, a disgraced XBI agent with a deadly fixation on control, and our peaceful suburban existence turned into a war zone. This is the tale of how I, a single mother, discovered a surveillance empire in our community, and it's one that will make you wonder who is actually watching you. My name is Laura Mitchell, a 43-year-old cybersecurity expert and ex-military attorney living a seemingly normal life. Until 6 months ago, my daughter Emily was always outstanding, buzzing around our home network at 9, creating her own encryption method. By 16, we resided in Crestwood Estates, a picture-perfect community with manicured lawns and a hyper-vigilant HOA presided over Diane Kessler, a woman who strutted around in a pseudo-police uniform complete with badges that fooled most into thinking she was legitimate. Diane ruled with an iron fist, citing neighbors for minor infractions, like slightly tall grass or bins left out past dusk. Most rolled their eyes and complied. But I always sensed something off about her obsessive need for control 5 years ago, after a messy divorce from Emily's father, a tech mogul who traded us for a younger model, sold our city apartment, and moved to Crestwood for its top-tier STEM high school and proximity to my clients. The neighborhood seemed perfect, kids on bikes, neighbors chatting a sparkling community pool. The realtor mentioned higher-than-average HOA fees for enhanced security, but failed to warn us that meant Diane running the place like her personal thief. Everything changed when Emily came home one day, barely containing her excitement. "Mom, remember my encryption project for the state science fair?" she asked. Throwing her backpack onto the counter, I nodded, impressed even with my cybersecurity background. She handed me an envelope with a government seal, showing an invitation to a CIA internship for gifted teens. "They say my algorithm could protect national security," she beamed, stunned. I read the letter twice. Pride clashed with wormy, 17-year-old working with the CIA. After a long discussion about safety and balance, we agreed she'd join the program not knowing it would place us in Diane's sights. Emily's internship started quietly. 3 afternoons a week, a plain government SUV came to collect her after school, driving her to a secure facility. She'd come home buzzing with ideas, giving us vague little tidbits such as, "We worked on quantum cryptography today, being careful not to break confidentiality." Her confidence was soaring under Agent Karen HOA, a noon-sent CIA officer who mentored her. Karen came to our house twice, reassuring me. Emily's position was somewhat of an advanced coding program, not field work. "She's a rare talent," Karen said. "Well, keep her safe, but trouble brewed." 2 weeks in, I noticed a car parked across the street, binoculars aimed at our house. When I stepped outside, it sped off, Diane at the wheel. Soon after, HOA violation notices flooded our mailbox in non-compliant lawn decor. Wrong curtain shades, garbage cans, 2 in off position. None matched the HOA handbook. I responded with polite letters citing rules. But Diane disregarded them, increasing fines during an HOA meeting. She sidestepped my inquiry, adjourning. Before I could be heard, neighbors steered clear of me, except for Ellen Harper, who warned in a whisper, "Be careful around Diane, she despises anyone who opposes her." Feeling a trend, I installed unobtrusive security cameras monitoring tapes. I discovered the neighborhood camera opposite our home had been repositioned into our living room, as opposed to others that were facing public spaces. Digging into Diane's history, using outdated military contacts, I discovered a chilling truth. She was terminated from the FBI 5 years previously due to unauthorized surveillance and access to classified information without clearance. Her spouse, Carl, a disgraced former cop, currently worked mall security, but conducted himself like he still had a badge. Both had lost their careers in shady ways, now directing their desire for power to the HOA. The timing of Diane's obsession overlapping with Emily's internship indicated she'd noticed the government cars, and with her FBI background suspected classified activity. But why the later hostility? I learned Diane had a vendetta against federal agencies who she believed dismissed her in a conspiracy. Emily's CIA. Work a teenager, building the trust she'd lost, fueled her obsession and paranoia. I called Karen reporting Diane's surveillance document, everything Karen advised. This sounds targeted, don't confront her yet. That evening, Carl's car circled our block 3 times. If Diane wanted to play spy, I was ready to outmaneuver her, but I did not know that she was already preparing for war. The violations escalated to absurd, and Carl's car was being picked up by my cameras late at night. Emily succeeded at the CIA, but one day, she walked me through an attempted hack on her home laptop, captured by agency software. We suspected Diane. Meanwhile, a neighbor, a retired judge, Henry Walsh, spoke to me. "I've observed Diane's campaign against you," he said over coffee. He described a file charting 3 years of her HOA abuses, harassing a postal inspector, revoking a prosecutor's pool access, destroying a councilman's hedge. She attacks anyone with a government or legal history, Henry clarified. People are intimidated, she digs up dirt and uses it. His records indicate Diane's tactics, minor citations reaching as far as surveillance property damage, and leaked personal info for those who fought an emergency. HOA meeting was convened citing suspicious activity and unauthorized visitors. A veiled jab at us Diane, in her fraud uniform, suggested safety inspections of homes, a clear invasion of privacy. I resisted invoking legal safeguards. The HOA can't break onto private property without permission. Where's the proof for these threats? Diane snapped, your daughter's erratic schedule and unusual visitors are no secret. Miss Mitchell? The room divided with Henry and others. Supporting me table, abbling the proposal that evening. Emily reported a second hack attempt, and the following morning a dead bird with a snapped neck was on our doorstep. A chilling warning. Furious, I reported it to Officer Daniel Pierce, who admitted off record that Diane and Carl were known troublemakers, but stayed just shy of prosecutable. Get hard evidence, he said. I upgraded our cameras and secured our network, knowing the CIA had Emily's work devices locked down Tuesday during a CIA training session. My phone pinged motion inside our house. Camera feeds showed Diane and Carl in black entering via a bump key, searching drawers, shooting Emily's desk, and jacking a device into her decoy laptop. I called the police and Karen, who told us to come back but stay away from trouble. By the time we got there, they had left, but video recorded it all. Police took fingerprints and found Carl's gait was the same as the male intruder, but their hidden faces made it a weaker case. A young officer leaned in and whispered, "Carl has cop friends, if this drags on." Go to Pierce, we discovered a listening device behind our router, which I left to feed disinformation. The break-in changed my perspective. This wasn't an HOA battle, it was a security risk. As a mother and former military attorney, I was finished playing defense. Karen suggested a bold scheme: feed Diane phony CIA reports of a neighborhood investigation to catch her with Henry's assistance. We created files implying Emily was investigating local threats, leaving them in plain sight through windows. I staged a boisterous call outside Carl at the store, Emily's identifying neighborhood threats. The CIA is monitoring that evening, cracking the HOA camera system. I noticed Diane's command center maps, photos of us, surveillance logs. She collided with her allies, the Mitchell girls, a CIA operative tailing us. Perhaps me, a shy neighbor, interrogated her, but Diane claimed it was an illegal domestic op and their patriotic duty to resist. She allocated surveillance shifts and directed nano-operation with FETSA federal crime. Our trap was effective, but I did not anticipate her to escalate so quickly, or with a gun by Saturday. Diane's paranoia reached its peak. Cameras captured her pacing, calling, and getting a handgun out of a safe. I warned Karen and Pierce. Sunday we carried out the plan. Emily left at 9:30, wearing her CIA intern badge and carrying a classified briefcase heading for Karen's car. Henry happened to pass by. Suddenly Diane appeared from bushes in her phony uniform, gun security. She barked, pointing at Emily. My heart froze as I called 911 from within, texting. Karen, Emily, commerce trained, said, "Ma'am, I'm a CIA intern on authorized duties. Here's my badge." Diane scoffed. "The CIA has no jurisdiction here, that's a fake. Open the briefcase." Emily refused, citing classified contents. Diane grabbed her arm, yanking the case. I stormed out, phone recording. Diane Kessler, dropped the weapon, you're committing felonies. Diane's eyes were wild. Your daughter's running an illegal OP targeting. My Carl emerged, hand on a holster, raising the risk Henry stepped in as a retired judge. I advise you, Mrs. Kessler, you're assaulting someone impersonation and hindering a federal agency. Diane seethed. I've maintained this block safe. You're all in on it. Neighbors congregated, some filming, others perplexed, still believing Diane's authorization. The standoff pulled Diane's gun, unyielding, until Karen showed up flashing CIA credentials. Federal agent, put down your weapon. Diane pointed the gun in her direction. A deadly error, Officer Pierce and 2 police officers drew their weapons. Cop, drop it. Pice ordered. Diane cornered, raved about her jurisdiction. A good neighbor had filmed screaming about police harassment, but was shooed away at last. Diane lowered her firearm to speak to the crowd. This is an operation to ensure security. Pierce subdued her in a flash. His partner cuffing Carl. Diane's identification was an HOA card and phony badge, her gun real and unlicensed. Both were arrested on charges of impersonation, illegal firearms assault, and obstructing a federal agency. Neighbors gasped, learning Diane wasn't a cop, as she was cuffed. Diane screamed, "You'll regret this. I protected you from criminals." Carl's silence seemed to grasp their fate. Post-arrest, neighbors confessed Diane's blackmail, exposing secrets, finding denters, damaging property. Emily shaken hugged me, and Karen praised her composure, field agent potential. Henry noted the public spectacle ensured Diane's downfall at the station. Police revealed Diane's home, a surveillance hub with unauthorized cameras, stolen police gear, and journals revealing neighbors' secrets. Her computer displayed $100,000, diverted from HOA accounts, for weapons and counterfeit uniforms. Audio files revealed her scheme to expand her security network to other HOAs. Hard drives uncovered a larger conspiracy. Diane installed ex-cop friends in HOAs, targeting government employees for data to sell to foreign powers. The CIA had been monitoring her Emily's internship, provoking her paranoia. Diane and Carl were charged with national security at trial. Diane asserted she was a guardian, but the judge rebuked her. There's no neighborhood dictator in our laws. They got long sentences. Crestwood reorganized its HOA with me on the oversight board. Emily won a CIA scholarship, and Karen became a friend teasing about neighborhood security. Our community recovered. Hosting a festival Diane once forbade, I became a part-time consultant to the CIA, drawing on my experience to identify rogue HOAs. The shock is how many neighbors suffered in silence, intimidated by Diane's bogus authority. This isn't just about an HOA to rant. It's about questioning unchecked power and the urge to resist if you're being faced with your own local dictator document. Everything, know your rights.